July 10th, 1856, a young boy was born during the middle of a storm. The midwife thought the violent storm was a bad omen. The child would be born as a child of darkness. His mother disagreed. "No," she replied. "You will be a child of light." Nikola Tesla is one of the most important inventors of history. And the fact that Doctor Who would take the time out to say, "No, you will not be forgotten. Not by us, and not by anyone else," I can appreciate all the more. As always, guys, this episode is brought to you by the BBC. This is not an alternative to the source material. Please go support the official release. All rights belong to BBC and their affiliates.
Seen by the naked eye, forces invisible to us, which Observe,
So cool.
ladies and gentlemen. I planned the forces of nature on these forces of nature on a scale never seen before.
It's kind of similar to Adrian Brody, actually.
Every corner of the earth.
I know JP Morgan has his way.
The foreman went home.
Miscarriage, we need to leave. Carriage, we need to leave now.
Oh, liking this. He's actually a proactive historical character.
Here we go. Perfect getaway vehicle. Full speed.
I'm Nikola Tesla, and I assure you,
Tesla. I knew you looked familiar. It's only Nikola Tesla. Who?
Nicholas is something.
Total genius. I always wanted to meet you. Shame you're a big fat liar.
Wait,
And we're off again.
watch what you say.
Can you ages?
Oh, thank you, Edison.
Why don't you go on through? Tesla's lab. This is going to be something special.
Let's see it. Oh, that's been
I
underwhelming.
won't lie. I was expecting more.
I'll do this.
It's one of the most important individuals, and this is accurate.
This is what you found in the generator.
Because nobody knows.
Giving off all that
They're the
energy.
only ones compared
But
to
why?
Edison or the other famous inventors like in this age.
You see how it moves independently? I believe.
Off this kind of noise. His energy readings are off the charts.
What that instrument detects, is it your own design?
I made it, mainly out of spoons.
Jordan?
I have my moments.
I knew it. So you can understand how it feels. You know, yeah, and to make it real, I don't think there's any greater thrill.
I couldn't agree more.
I love these two.
You spoke of aliens, people who will laugh at the very idea.
But not you.
Well, apparently I'm not like other people.
Not at all, man.
To hear no one else sees the world the way you do, it's like you were,
Out of place.
Born in the wrong time, man.
I thought things would be different. You know, when I first arrived in America, I had 4 cents to my name. I was robbed.
Aw.
Still, I thought, this is the beginning. Here I would prosper, my ideas would live.
Changing the world takes time. You have to be patient.
But you'll never get that
You saw them
chance.
outside. They talk as if I was dangerous or mad.
So prove them wrong. Sir, this was just delivered. It's from Mr.
Excellent. Mr. Morgan is the investor behind my Wardenclyffe project. With his help,
Pull out.
he's pulling the funding.
What?
I lead Wardenclyffe without it. I'm never going to be able to prove it works.
Who's Edison's play?
That was Harold Green, one of Edison's.
The most deadly force in science.
good businessman, terrible inventor.
Let me guess.
Not exactly a shrinking violet, is he? I've seen his name all over the shop. Talk about tooting your own horn.
I have
Right.
never seen anything like this in my life. Is it your design? Who has the patent?
This isn't a business opportunity. Someone tried to shoot us with it just before we caught
Patents everywhere.
Nikola Tesla. Someone's trying to steal from him, and he seems pretty sure it's you.
Does he now? Ma'am,
He has
I
a
may keep an eye on
slime
your
ball
ride, but I do not
face.
steal. I have
He's
no
like
need
a
to.
proper slime ball.
Knowledge shared freely.
Now that sounds like the future.
Yeah.
Early stage
It will
internet.
change the world. Why can't anyone else see that?
There must be someone who'll invest in it.
Well, if there is, I can't find.
Something's wrong.
Oh.
Or radar.
Radar?
Using energy waves to work out what's around you.
Oh, dude.
It's just a theory.
I've been working on a similar theory myself. I call it my exploring brain. But anyway,
Oh, he's
the orb is
amazing.
emitting distinct waves of energy. It's like it's sensing its surroundings.
Or scanning. Which
Jeez. She's always getting teleported in this series. What the hell? Oh, God. No.
Welcome, Nikola Tesla.
What the hell? Oh, Pedersen's mind's gonna be blown.
We'll get him back. She's good at impossible too.
He wasn't a romantic. I think he was asexual.
On your pop.
Moment I saw it.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly. A place from its
He's like,
original intent.
yeah, sure,
Intent.
buddy.
It's been scanning the Earth since.
But he records all his observations. We have to go to Wardenclyffe.
Hey! Oh, it's amazing. Now this is the lab.
Oh, this is the
Yeah.
Mr. Tesla, Mr. Tesla.
You at my old depot. You at my old depot. And men like you don't pay a bloke that much attention unless you think there's a payout coming.
Oh.
Signal readout.
Be here.
just because you're a genius doesn't mean you have to figure everything out on your own. We're in this together.
You have examined the equipment.
God, she's creepy.
Did it never occur to you to try thinking or building something instead?
Just insert Edison's face there.
Tesla. Why Tesla?
What is it? What is this? Where are you all going?
Say it. There it is, come on. Oh, I'm emoting for I feel for this guy. He actually feels happiness.
Fantastical. I couldn't figure it out either. The internal dimensions transcends the
Ah,
Listen up,
closest thing we get to bigger on the
It's me,
inside.
on behalf of Tesla. Consider this your official eviction notice. Get your ship away from Earth right
Take
now.
your ship and get out.
Recognition at last. Recognition at last.
Oh, not like this.
You do realize it's killing Edison that they want you and not him.
Yeah, that's what a smile on his face.
This place. Wardenclyffe. No.
Nikola Tesla, you're gonna change the world.
Means no.
But first, you're gonna save it. Now, tell me all about Wardenclyffe.
The tower works by harnessing the
God.
electric field of the Earth itself. Here,
Magnifying transformer pumps millions of volts into this tunnel. The current races down through the Earth until it reaches the other side of the planet and then bounces back. Then it's channeled into the tower, wave after wave after wave, and up into the air. My intention was to build a series of these towers.
Wirelessly transmitting
energy throughout the ether.
For free.
A world wireless system. That's Wi-Fi? Did Tesla have the idea for Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
But with enough power, it could be used to send a single bolt of lightning high up into the sky.
Well, if we generate one light, it could strike the ship like so.
Yes! High five. Too early.
Yeah.
In a pig's eye. In a pig's eye. You want to bet our lives on a contraption like this, huh? Some fantastical idea no sane man ever invested in.
At least I have ideas. You have filled a factory full of men to do your thinking for you. Half of your inventions were thought up by other people.
Anyone can have ideas. Ideas. I make them happen. All those men, all those inventions. I turn them from real things people can buy. That's how you change the world. You're too blind to see.
The gifts of other men to make yourself even
Best
greater.
idea either one of us ever had.
You're too narrow-minded to grasp the genius of my work, and that is why you will never achieve real greatness. You're not a man of parts.
Oi,
Really?
AC/DC. You two might be the greatest minds of the age, but is there any chance you can stop?
I didn't see that
stopping
joke
while we
coming.
try and save the planet?
Someone had to make it.
We need to move quickly. We have to prepare the tower.
It's deadly tanding with his deader. We're as good as fried if we stay outside. He's firing it up right now. Sprint. Safe.
It's good salesman and given that. Taking advantage of that.
Prototype Death Ray. Prototype Death Ray.
Yes! Yes!
Are you sure this is? Are you sure this is right?
Just here! This tunnel here! This tunnel leads
It works.
Working on this thing. You'd be bankrupt within the year.
Perhaps. But how could I stop now?
Keep trying. Just like me.
Nothing's changed. A few is torn down. Is torn down. Tesla keeps on inventing, but no money, no fame. He dies penniless. History leaves him behind, but his vision of wireless energy, that does happen. A connected world, and that idea starts here with him.
That's not right.
People should know. Either way, it doesn't change what he's done.
Doctor, you have to let me study that machine of yours. It is
Magnificent invention most magnificent invention I've ever seen in my life.
Never mind the TARDIS. Magnificent inventions of your own.
yes, you're right. You're right. Of course, there's so much to be done. Thank you all.
Don't give up.
Whatever anyone says.
Well, let them talk. The present is theirs.
I work for the future.
And the future is mine.
Shall we?
So where do I begin? What a return to form for Doctor Who. I mean, not just in terms of good writing style, in terms of good character, good balance of the script, but a good feel to it. Like, don't get me wrong, the first 2 episodes with Spyfall, they're a good running start. They're like, yes, we're back in form. We know what we're doing. We got a good idea. We have this notion of where we can take Doctor Who. And a bit of a slip up with Orphan 55, I'm not going to lie. But this was like, no, that was just a slip up. We can't confirm this is where we're going. I mean, where do we start? I mean, the period costumes. We got the period costumes back. It's so cool to see them all wear like bowler hats and bonnets and fat hats, and you're like, yes, thank you. Where was that the rest of the season? 19th century wear or early 20th century wear, and they're like, yeah, we're just going to dress up as we normally like. This is like we normally do, and it's fun. It's like yeah, have fun, have games with this. Do enjoyable stuff like this. I cannot wait to see them do more of this, more of the wearing the period accurate clothing, and yeah, and Nikola Tesla, what a performance! A performance by a Goran Viznik. I have to say he almost looks exactly like him, but I as you saw, I think he looked a bit like Adrian Brody. I think actually that'd be a pretty cool actor to play Tesla in a proper biopic. I wouldn't mind a Tesla biopic anytime soon. But more than just the look, that optimism, that outlook, that humility in the face of all this technology. Usually when they meet, not usually, whenever they meet a historical figure, there's always some sort of like pompous nature to like some phantasmagoria. What's all this nonsense of time travel? And it's only by the end that they come to terms with it. Here he was just in there. He was so on board. He's like the internal dimensions transcend the external dimensions. Yes, I'm on board. I get this, and it's so much fun to see him just engage with the Doctor. It's like you get it. We're on the same page, you and I. I understand how you think, and you understand how I think, and you don't really see that a lot. You only really see that occasionally, like maybe once per series. Like you'll see them like interact, like bounce off one another, like some quirky dialogue, like with Matt Smith and Winston Churchill, or David Tennant and Queen Victoria. But then you'll get like Dr. 11 with Vincent Van Gogh, and there's like a big good back and forth where we're trying to understand each other's traumas and each other's understanding of how the world works, and you can feel that here, where she's like, yeah, I get that, I understand you, and you understand me. We're both born in the wrong time. We're both outsiders to everyone around us, and when I saw him just sort of stand there. Did you remember seeing him like just stand there in the TARDIS, just a nice sort of stance of that's a job well done. He belonged. He looks like a character. How cool would it be if we get actual historical characters as companions, like consistent ones? We said that with the earlier ones with Norse and with Lovelace. I thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if they stuck around and they were the companions? And here it's like, yes, a proactive historical figure. He's involved. He's making stuff. Like the Doctor's like, we'll work together, and I love the interactions. There's little nods or little nuances to his performance where he's talking with Yasmin and he's saying, I have this great idea, and she's like really supportive. By the end, from beginning where she doesn't know him to the end where she's like everyone should know him. I feel ashamed of myself for not knowing him, and please tell me, now he's going to get everything. It's like, no, I'm sorry. That's the harsh truth we have to learn. It's a lot of people have made the comparisons to the Van Gogh episode where they understand that just because you are made aware of how important you are, just because you know how good you are, it does nothing to soothe the mentality you've built for yourself. You live in your own shadow, and you're your own worst critic. And that's unfortunately a lesson that we all have to take away from this. That we keep trying, and we persevere. And it's about the passion we hold for our craft. And that just comes true in the end. That fascinating man. But and it doesn't just stop at Tesla, but it also goes a bit to Edison. It's like I'm glad that they didn't go the route of he was the evil villain of this all, like he was working with aliens. But I'm also glad that they sort of pointed out, like, yeah, he's a bit of a con man. He's just a business guy. He'll steal from you, take your credit for your ideas. He's like, I'm the guy who makes stuff happen. It's like, no, you're a good businessman. I'll give him that. When I studied him in history of technologies and sciences, when I studied him there, he had a great contribution to the realms of science in terms of promoting the ideas, not in actually developing the ideas. Tesla. He had the likes of the shadow graphs, were the precursor to the X-rays, the radio in 1895, preceding Marconi's 1896 version, or neon lighting, which we see in all those great noir films, but also great uses of like precursors to fluorescent lighting. The contributions to the first major hydroelectric power plant in Niagara, which you saw at the beginning of the Adams power plant. The induction motor. I actually built an induction motor when I was younger with the help of my dad for a science project. We actually he was trying to display the use of electromagnetism to power a motor, we just essentially got a bunch of copper wire, coiled it around into a ring, got another one, braced it on 2 wires, and one goes in the middle, send the current through, and it just spins at a fast pace. And yeah, and that's my first introduction to science, really. And not just that, you saw him there. His applications for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, internet, automatons, robotics, drones, remote control, AC currents. And yeah, I'm just glad that he was like, this was the episode that says like, yeah, you remember that? He did all that stuff. And Edison, granted, he's not presented as the most likable guy, but I'm glad they didn't just drag him through the mud. They actually did make him sympathetic, like, I care for my workers, I care for the fact that this guy I hired is dead. I want to help you guys, and maybe it's out of self-preservation, but he's still helping Yasmin run away from the monsters. He's still helping fend off these creatures, and he's even at the end, he's like saying, maybe for my own self-interest, but I see how your work goes, and it's fascinating. His energy, his technology can work for me again. And no, the Skifra. I've been seeing a lot of reactions where they're comparing her to the Skifra to Dorachnos from The Runaway Bride. To a point where I was starting to wonder, why didn't they just bring him back? I mean, there's essentially arachnid-based creatures. Why not just make some sort of like mini bug non-queen version, saying like, we're looking for our queen and she's hidden somewhere on Earth, or the paws are somewhere on Earth, and the Doctor's like, need to correct that timeline. Like, she doesn't need to say it out loud, but we know for ourselves, like, oh, alright, that connects back to the Runaway Bride episode. We need to sort of organize a timeline so that when they come back, it is for when the 10th Doctor is here. And I'm glad they were sort of figuring that out for the next episode. We were saying they're actually bringing back the Jadoon. They need to bring back the aliens, not because of like nostalgia. Oh, I want the aliens back, but it's like a consistency, a sort of level of we know what you want, and we don't need to spend time to develop them. We set up a new species. We've spent the past 10 years establishing who they are. Here's what they are, and here's a new plan they're involved in. So we're getting the Judoon back. And I'm glad that we're actually going to use them in a story and not just be like, oh, some sort of invading force is coming to Earth and we need to defend against it. We need to establish what they are, what their motivations are, what their connection to the Doctor is. Nope. We got all that. It's just there. We know it. Although I do hope they address it. Now, as I said, there was some sort of comparisons to the Van Gogh episode. When the Van Gogh episode came around, I won't lie, I felt emotional. That ending scene where he goes to the future and he sees his art creations and all the good that people see in it, and he just breaks down. You're like, I'm right there with you, man. Here, I felt for him. I felt for Van Gogh. I felt for the interactions he had with the others, but it had a good balance. I wasn't drowning in tears, but I was fearful of these creatures. I was edging for him, like, what's the mystery? What's the characters like? The Doctor got her Dark Doctor moment, even if momentarily, but it's coming. It's definitely coming. I hope it's coming. Where she's actually saying, here's you're going to drown in blood and no one's going to remember your name. I'm like, oh, yes, that's exactly what I want. And we want more of those moments where the Doctor can indulge in her darker senses, where she can be sort of condescending, or she can have this like convoluted plan where he's like I came up with something and I'm going to destroy you all. I don't think they're destroyed; they're just sent away. But yeah, it is a case of they were getting on her bad side. I mean, it was technically started in last season finale, and with the Dalek, but I'm glad it's continuing to get more and more appearances. But in terms of like the Van Gogh story again, I don't really. I do want to compare them. I like to compare them. I'd like to say that Van Gogh had a more emotional story, but that was more in terms of the actual character of Van Gogh. But here they found their balance. They found the balance of, here's a historical character, we're going to make you feel for him, we're going to give you a mystery, we're going to give you character development. And I think they found their stride. So here's hoping that actually continues and that persists.